Revealed, the 7 daily actions that invite divine supernatural karma transform your life now. In the heart of a quaint English village, Mary Harris, a devoted single mother, danced through her daily struggles with an unwavering faith. Every Sunday at St. Jude's Church, the warmth of her tight-knit community embraced her like a thick wool blanket. 7 daily actions to invite divine supernatural karma rang through her mind like a revelation, guiding her every thought. She believed with fervency. Daily prayer, acts of kindness, and expressions of gratitude became the rhythm of her life, leading her through relentless storms. Each time she murmured the name of her patron saint, St. Jude, a sense of comfort fell upon her, but the world was not always kind. Burdened by mounting financial woes, Mary's spirit faltered under the weight. The skepticism whispered by some friends, who questioned her faith, echoed painfully in her ears. Still, she clung tightly to the threads of hope stitched through her kindness. Just breathe, she reminded herself, even as bills piled high. Yet, shadows of doubt began to creep in like fog rolling over the hills. Was her steadfastness enough to keep her family afloat? In a moment of despair, Mary turned to her compassionate pastor, Father Thomas. The gentle soul looked deep into her weary eyes and reminded her, "Live boldly. Your bravery in small acts of faith invites the miraculous. Share your worries in gratitude, even when uncertainty looms overhead." Each word acted like a balm, stirring new hope in her heart. With resolve renewed, she embraced her spiritual journey, only to be gripped by an unexpected terror when Daniel, her eldest son, suddenly fell ill. A diagnosis scattered Mary's hope like autumn leaves caught in a tempest. Clouds of uncertainty gathered as she struggled against despair. Was this the test that would fracture her faith? "Oh, St. Jude, hear my cries," she pleaded amidst the prayers whispered in the church, seeking shelter from the storm. Yet, hope began to fade as each earthly remedy fluttered away, leaving only the fear of losing her child nestled within her heart. One particularly dark evening, while the village settled into the embrace of night, Mary found herself drawn to a secluded spot outside the church. Tears streaked her face, and shadows curled around her as she knelt in prayer. "God, please!" she cried, the anguish escaping her lips, echoing into the chill. Just then, a flicker of light broke through the dark, illuminating her surroundings, a beacon of divine presence amidst her suffering. In that sacred moment, an angelic figure emerged, radiating warmth and peace. Mary felt a tide of strength flood over her, driving away despair. "You are not alone," the voice whispered like a soft breeze, reminding her of her faith's purpose. Her heart swelled with conviction, rekindled by that encounter. With newfound spirit, Mary saw her community, a tapestry woven with shared prayers, stories, and struggles. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Emboldened by her spiritual awakening, Mary began to share this extraordinary revelation with her neighbors. Together, their collective voices soared, unraveling the doubts that wrapped around each heart. Acts of kindness flourished, woven together by their shared hopes, yet Mary was left with a burning question: would her faith yield the miracle they desperately sought for Daniel? As they gathered in prayer, an air of anxious anticipation enveloped the village, waiting to see if divine intervention would sweep through as they clung to their beliefs. As dawn's gentle light spilled through the village, it brought with it a fresh wave of hope. Mary rose with renewed purpose, her heart a vibrant tapestry woven from prayer and possibility. The village was starting to awaken, the sounds of birds filled the air, mixed with the whispers of determined souls. Encouraged by their shared efforts, Mary felt something stir within her, a belief that miracles were possible, even in the direst circumstances. The streets were alive with laughter and chatter as neighbors gathered for morning errands. As Mary stepped out, she was greeted warmly by Mrs. Wanda, a kindly woman with eyes filled with understanding. "I felt something shift last night, Mary. Your faith has stirred something magical in us all." She beamed, her voice infused with excitement. "Together, we shall overcome," Mary replied, her spirit radiant. "Let us continue spreading kindness and hope." With each person she met, Mary shared her insights, encouraging them to engage in small acts of love: a warm smile, a helping hand, sharing a comforting word. The community blossomed, turning the mundane into the extraordinary. Yet, with hope came a quiet undercurrent of fear, a familiar shadow that lingered at the edges of her mind. Mary often found herself pausing at Daniel's bedroom door, listening to his fevered breathing. Each night was a test of faith, a reminder of her earthly vulnerability. One afternoon, as she ventured to the local market, a thought struck her. What if they came together not just in prayer but also in action? Determined, she gathered the villagers to her home, inviting them to join in a day of kindness for Daniel. "Let us shower him with love," she proposed, excitement brightening her tone. "Let us fill his days with joy, laughter, and reminders of all that we hold dear." The villagers responded with enthusiasm. It was as if a wave of divine purpose swept over them. In an extraordinary show of unity, they organized games for children, brought flowers, and prepared meals, each person contributing something unique, sending ripples of love straight to Daniel. As the day of kindness dawned, Mary felt a palpable energy in the air. The sun shone brightly, illuminating the village with an almost divine glow. Families poured into her home, laughter mingling with prayers. Children's voices filled the air, echoes of joy that danced in Mary's heart. In that moment, the struggles faded, replaced by the warmth of community and faith. Mary sensed God's presence embracing them, whispering promises of restoration. Yet, as she observed the scene unfolding, she couldn't help but hold her breath. Would their collective faith spark a miracle for her son? As dusk settled, waves of colorful lanterns illuminated the night, each candle a symbol of hope. Mary gathered the children and shared stories of saints and miracles, their eyes wide with wonder. "Miracles happen when love and faith meet," she proclaimed, her voice ringing with passion. In the depth of her heart, she felt a growing connection to those around her. Even as they celebrated, a silent prayer lingered. Deep within, Mary held tightly to the question that gnawed at her heart: when would their faith bring the miracle they so desperately sought? With restless hope, she whispered a prayer to St. Jude among those flickering lights, and as the lanterns flickered in harmony, a sudden hush fell over the crowd. Intrigued glances exchanged, hearts quickened as the world held its breath. Something stirred in the air, whispering, the moment of divine intervention was close at hand. What would this night hold for them? The hush that descended was thick with anticipation. Eyes turned toward the heart of the village, where the fading daylight seemed to gather, a divine presence hovering just beyond the reach of human understanding. Mary felt the weight of every hopeful heart enveloping her, urging forth a transformation. Then, as if guided by an unseen hand, a gentle breeze arose. It breathed through the lanterns, sending flickering flames dancing, painting the night with shades of warmth and devotion. Gasps erupted as shadows played across the gathering faces, each one reflecting a mixture of wonder and reverence. Mary stepped forward, her spirit ignited by the sense of unity that surrounded her. "What we have built today, this love, this faith is powerful," she called out, her voice radiant as she stared into the depths of every familiar gaze. "We are not just gathered here by chance. We have made space for the miraculous. Together, we are crafting a tapestry of faith that stretches far beyond our earthly troubles." Her words struck chords in the hearts of those present. They clutched their lanterns tight, as if holding onto their faith in the physical form of light. Children peppered her feet, wide-eyed, mothers glanced knowingly at one another, exchanging unspoken affirmations of support. Together, they formed a circle, their commitment to one another strengthening by the moment. Suddenly, a soft yet assertive voice emerged from the periphery. It was old Father Tobias, a respected elder whose wisdom was shaded by years. With a spark of determination igniting in his eyes, he raised his voice: "Let us not only remain here in our comfort. Let our faith be in action." He stepped into the dim light, proclaiming, "If faith without deeds is dead, then let us move. Let us visit Daniel and fill his room with the laughter and love we cherish. Let our hands be the instruments of God's grace." A murmur of agreement coursed through the crowd, stirring souls awake. Mary's heart swelled, and she knew this was indeed a call to transformation. Taking a deep breath, she nodded, relinquishing her worries and entrusting her son as healing to the hands of her neighbors. "Yes. To Daniel," she insisted, a renewed fire warming her words. With joined hands, the group began to make their way toward her home. Mary led the procession, weaving through the lantern-lit path, where faith resounded in the rhythm of their footsteps. She felt bursts of energy surrounding them, an unexplainable force that seemed to uplift their spirits. They were not merely walking, they were marching toward a miracle. Upon reaching her doorstep, Mary opened the door to reveal a world transformed. Flowers adorned the room, freshly baked loaves filled the air with warmth, and laughter cascaded from the cluster of friends who settled beside Daniel's bed. Each gesture was a fragrant offering of love. As Mary pressed forward to her son, she noticed a slight shift in the atmosphere. Daniel stirred slightly, his eyelids fluttering, whispering dreams and sounds that echoed in Mary's heart. She knelt beside him, praying fervently, her spirit aligned with every hopeful wish sent forth from their gathering, and then, in the midst of laughter and music, a pristine silence fell once more. There was a pause, of breath held by everyone, hearts instinctively leaned toward a moment they dared to imagine. In that charged stillness, a flicker of light, soft yet profound, glowed from the center of the room. What is this?" someone dared to whisper. Mary's eyes widened as she turned, sensing the presence of something beyond comprehension. A gentle warmth enveloped her, and suddenly there was a stirring in the room. Was it the breath of angels or the whispers of saints? In that instant, the words fell from her lips again, "The miracle is upon us." But as the light flickered more intensely, thoughts raced through her mind. Could they truly be on the brink of a divine revelation? As the air thickened with divine potential, Mary felt that something larger was at play. When would they finally understand the full breadth of this moment? The answer felt just out of reach, dancing like flames in the wind, waiting for them to step fully into the light. The light dimmed and brightened, flickering like the heartbeat of the village's collective spirit. All eyes were on Mary as she knelt by Daniel's side, the aura of faith thickening, forming an invisible bridge between the seen and the unseen. With each breath, she absorbed the energy radiating from those gathered, each heart beating in harmony with hers. "Lord," she whispered, her voice trembling with reverence, "may your will be done in this room. We gather here, with love and hope, to be vessels of your grace." Daniel's soft breaths filled the silence, growing steadier with each passing moment. Mary reached for his hand and felt warmth emanating from it, as if fueled by the flames of their collective prayers. How could such a small gesture bear such power? Father Tobias, standing nearby, raised his own hands, embracing the sacred bond woven among them. "Let us continue in song." His voice rang out, rich and inviting, weaving through the room like a golden thread. "Lift your praises high. We must honor this moment together." They began to sing, voices rising into the air as harmonies blended, filling every corner of the room with hope. The melody wrapped around them, painting joy across weary faces. With every note, fear melted away. What once clouded their minds now transformed into something achingly beautiful. Could it be that God was already answering their prayers? Among the gathering, Mary observed the faces surrounding her, each heart a testament to unwavering belief. Children's voices chimed, lending an innocence to the reverence. Women clasped their hands, some wiping away tears that sparkled under gently swaying lanterns. Men stood strong, their presence a fortress of support. Suddenly, the flickering light increased. Mary felt it tug at her spirit, urging her to look toward Daniel. Eyes that once seemed heavy now fluttered open fully. "Mother?" His voice was a soft croak, like the first buds of spring breaking forth through winter's chill. "Yes, my sweet Daniel." Mary nearly cried, her heart racing as joy mingled with disbelief. This moment, the miracle they had all gathered for, was unfolding before them. The room erupted into a chorus of gasps and exclamations. Their hearts surged as Daniel struggled to sit up, supported by Mary, who held him close. "You're here," he whispered, confusion flitting across his gaze. "What is happening? You were lost, dear one, but look around you." Mary gestured to their assembled family, the love radiating from joyful faces that beamed up at him. "We are here, and we prayed for you." As Daniel's eyes swept over the joy-infused space, he let out a gentle laugh. "I felt light. The air pulsed with an electric current." That single word, light, hung in the atmosphere. It echoed Kristen's soft touch, making everyone pause to consider its depth. Light had come to this home, bringing healing and hope, yet a moment of uncertainty bristled beneath the joy. Would Daniel remember what he had faced? Would the darkness that gripped him during his illness linger, or would the light truly allow him to reclaim the life he once knew? As the laughter and shouts of joy enveloped Daniel, Mary noticed something shimmering near the window, a glint of radiant light that seemed almost sentient. Drawn to it, she felt it whisper to her spirit, inviting her to step closer to the truth that lay just behind its ethereal form. Wait, she turned to the crowd, her voice steady yet filled with wonder. What else does he want us to discover tonight? The air crackled with anticipation, and the warmth that enveloped them deepened, thick with possibility and miracles yet to come. What was beyond that light, she wondered? What truths would emerge if they dared to seek them? In that sacred space, the night held its breath, and the promise of divine revelation shimmered just out of reach. The light near the window pulsed softly, as if responding to Mary's question. It danced like fireflies, flitting around and ensnaring the hearts of everyone present. The congregation, caught in the wake of their collective faith, sensed the weight of the moment. The air throbbed with unseen possibilities. Look! A child exclaimed, pointing excitedly at the glow. The innocent awe in his voice swept through the crowd, amplifying the air thick with divine presence. Focus on that light. Father Tobias encouraged. His voice resonated with authority. It's a symbol of hope, a reminder that we are never truly alone. Each set of eyes turned toward the luminous form, finding strength in its brilliance. Mary felt a calling, a pull to move closer to the light. She stood, reluctantly releasing the warmth of Daniel's hand. As she drew nearer, a sensation of calm embraced her heart. The warmth was no longer just an emanation from the gathered love but a tangible force, nudging her intuition. What do you wish for us to see? She asked softly, as though the light could hear her. She sensed it whisper back, urging her onward. A gentle breeze stirred, drawing in the sweet scent of blooming flowers, a reminder of life's beauty beyond this moment. The villagers' voices faded into background murmurs, leaving only the rhythmic beating of her heart resonating with the quiet rustle of the night. She stepped further into the ethereal glow, daring to embrace the possibility of something more profound. The flicker intensified, swirling hues of gold and gentle violet surrounding her. Mary closed her eyes, entrusting herself to the moment. A vivid vision unfurled in her mind. Her heart raced as she glimpsed shadowy figures, lost souls wandering through darkened paths, reaching out for light. Lord, are they in need of your grace? She gasped, her spirit tightening with the weight of their unseen burden. An urgency washed over her. Was this the purpose of their gathering? To mend what was broken. Mary! Daniel's voice broke through her reverie, filled with concern. He instinctively reached out for her, his brow furrowed. In that moment of connection, a thread extended beyond them into the ether, weaving their spirits together. I'm okay, Daniel. She called back, her voice steadier now. Come, join us. And as he moved toward her, the light expanded, like the wings of an angel unfurling to embrace the moment. Daniel's energy mingled with Mary's, creating an unbreakable bond bolstered by the presence of every heart in the room. Scaling the radiant wave, they started to sway, bodies moving in sync. Their song rose once more into the rafters, harmonizing with the pulse of the gathering, a symphony of renewed faith. Yet beneath this newfound harmony lay a current of turmoil. A question stirred within her: who were these souls that the light beckoned? Were they tied to Daniel's struggle? Father Tobias, reading the change in the atmosphere, offered, "Deeper is the call, friends. There are still shadows that linger, waiting for our response." His words struck like a clarion bell, echoing in the hearts around her. The atmosphere began to shift, and the anticipation thickened. As the light morphed, she sensed the emergence of a path, a calling to dive deeper into the mysteries that lay before them. "What must we do now?" she whispered, glancing at Father Tobias, who nodded knowingly. In that moment, the light quivered, as if waiting for their answer, inviting them to step fully into the unknown. Mary's heart raced with faith-fueled determination. "We must explore this together," she declared, and the congregation, inspired, rallied around her. What truths awaited them on this sacred journey? An uncharted adventure lay ahead, beckoning them to tune their spirits to the divine frequency offered through faith. Would they take a bold leap together into the light, or would shadows from the past bind them still? As the congregation stood in eager anticipation, the flickering light danced playfully around them, a celestial guide urging them onward. Mary felt the weight of the moment settle upon her, the sacred atmosphere vibrating with possibility. Every heartbeat harmonized with a collective longing for clarity and purpose, and she recognized that they were on the precipice of something extraordinary.
gather close. Father Tobias urged, his voice resonating with urgency. We must open our hearts to what is revealed. With each passing moment, the swirl of colors pulsated, inviting them to glimpse beyond the veil of normality.
Mary felt the energy of the room shift, a rippling wave that surged through the people, igniting whispers of hope and conviction. She could see it in their eyes, the dawning realization that they were not finished yet. Stepping forward, Mary closed her eyes again, seeking that deeper connection. Holy Spirit, guide us, she breathed, her spirit yearning to understand. Instantly, the vision returned, clearer this time. Those shadowy figures hovered, their faces distorted by sorrow.
They needed liberation.
Suddenly, she heard the whispers of the lost souls, carried like echoes in the wind. Help us, their voices intertwined, a chorus of desperation mingling with the fragrant autumn air.
Fear gripped her heart. Were they trapped here, in this realm, yearning for light but unable to reach it?
The time has come, Father Tobias announced, his voice steady.
The congregation fell silent, wonderment holding them in an unbreakable bond.
We recognize them, your loved ones, our tormentors, our brokenness.
They seek to be released from their chains.
Mary's heart thundered in her chest as she processed his words. The souls were lost, perhaps even familiar.
Was this a burden they had been carrying unknowingly? Were their own struggles entwined with those souls crying out for solace?
Together, we can bridge the divide, Father Tobias continued, with an intensity that wrapped around each spirit like a warm embrace.
If we offer our prayers and love, we may guide them into the light. Expressions of determination bloomed, faces radiant with the urgency of the moment.
Mary glanced at Daniel, his eyes sparkling with understanding.
He nodded, resolute. He felt it too. They all did.
We must stand in the gap, Mary announced, her voice firm, rousing the congregation from their stunned silence.
Let us pray for healing for them and for ourselves. They gathered into a circle, hands joined tightly, hearts open wide.
As they uttered prayers together, words spilling forth like sweet nectar of faith, the light grew brighter, enveloping them in a cocoon of warmth. The shadows shimmered in response, an indication that something was shifting in the spiritual realm.
Oh, Lord, Mary cried, tears streaming down her cheeks. Let your love flow through us to reach those who long to be set free. We stand in unity, offering our faith as a beacon in the darkness.
As the last words escaped her lips, the light surged with incredible brilliance. For a moment, it felt as if heaven itself poured down upon them, dissolving the barriers of separation. The far corners of the room shimmered, revealing ethereal patterns that held whispers of lives once intertwined with theirs. There, Mary spotted gentle faces of lost loved ones intertwined with the shadows, a grandmother she had cherished, a friend who had faltered, and faces of those once plagued but now glimmering with hope.
See? Father Tobias declared, all lacing his voice. They hear us.
A deep sense of calm cascaded over the group as they felt a connection, a bond transcending time and space. Yet amidst the joy, Mary's heart beheld a piercing thought.
What did their healing look like?
Would they truly find peace? The soft rustle of the light intensified as if it carried the very essence of those they prayed for.
What revelations awaited them on this mystical journey?
A stirring in her spirit told her they were only beginning to unearth divine truths about sacrifice, love, and redemption.
With the air sizzling with possibility, Mary wondered what would their next step be in this sacred dance with the divine. With hearts aligned and spirits heightened, the congregation stood enveloped in an unearthly glow. As the warmth of the light settled around them, whispers grew into a harmonious chorus, echoing, "We are here." The voices threaded through their beings, wrapping them in peace and purpose.
I feel the weight of their yearning, Mary breathed, her voice trembling with emotion. She opened her eyes to the faces surrounding her, filled with a blend of hope and solemnity. In each gaze, she sensed understanding, a collective agreement to press forward in this journey toward healing. Let us invite them closer, Father Tobias encouraged, his hands raised. By our faith, like a thread of gold, we can weave a bridge of love towards the light. The room felt like it was vibrating, the air thick with expectation. Mary could sense the presence of both light and shadow, an intertwining of their world and the next, and she felt her skin prickle with divine energy. She could barely contain her excitement as she imagined the lost souls inching closer, drawn by the tide of their prayers. We can encourage their release, Mary proposed, pushing through the overwhelming sensations swirling in her mind.
Let us declare words of truth over them. By proclaiming liberation, we can unravel the bonds holding them captive. Yes.
A voice called from the circle, rising in affirmation. It was Daniel, his conviction ringing out like a bell.
Let our faith be the key that unlocks the doors they've been trapped behind.
As they joined voices in prayer, Mary felt the air shift anew. A bright light pulsed at the center of their circle, amplifying their words as if the very heavens were hanging upon each syllable. With renewed fervor, they began to speak healing affirmations.
You are loved. You are free. Your past does not define you. In that moment, Mary noticed a shift.
The shadows that had once flickered ominously began to wane, retreating slowly under the steadfast brightness of their declarations. It was as if the souls were slowly recognizing the light in themselves through the unity of the congregation's love and faith.
Look! Father Tobias shouted with astonishment.
The shadows, they are transforming.
Mary's heart raced.
Almost instinctively, she pulled closer to the light and focused on the faces she recognized, yearning to reconnect with them. There was her grandmother, her eyes now radiant with warmth, a gentle smile breaking through the sorrow of her absence.
You've come, Mary whispered, her voice thick with emotion. In return, her grandmother's expression reflected deep gratitude and a whisper of peace that resonated through the core of Mary's spirit. Release us, echoed the voices of others, a haunting melody unraveling within her chest.
Help us remember our truths, our worth.
Breathe in their essence. Father Tobias urged, let us love them forward.
As they continued to pray, the light expanded and enveloped every shadow in its embrace, whispering the promise of freedom. Laughter mingled with joyful tears, collective relief rippled through them. Yet, in the recesses of Mary's heart, a new question began to form.
What awaited beyond this moment of connection? What new journey would reveal itself once the souls were finally released? With each prayer, uncertainty sparked within her. Would they find their peace, and what about the congregation? How would their lives change from this encounter?
The air was thick with possibility, draped like a veil over their hearts. In this sacred space, with faith soaring and the divine beckoning, the congregation was on the brink of something profound.
What awaited them on the other side of this glorious moment? Would they step boldly into deeper truths, forever transformed? As the light brightened once more, foreshadowing more revelations ahead, Mary couldn't help but wonder what divine mysteries would they soon uncover together? The energy in the room surged, an electric current that danced through the congregation as they prayed.
It felt like the walls themselves were holding their breath, waiting for the intention behind their voices to take flight. Mary felt the vibrations within her heart. She sensed that something unfathomable was about to unfold. Father Tobias lowered his arms, his eyes shining with conviction. We must remain steadfast, he encouraged.
Each prayer takes us closer to understanding. Let us intercede with fervor.
One by one, the spirits of the congregation began to share their stories, tales of heartache and longing, each woven with the threads of their faith. Daniel spoke of loss, choking back sobs, while Lila shared her journey through doubt and anxiety. Each testimony was a brushstroke on the canvas of their collective experience. They were painting a picture of transformation. Mary watched as they opened up, the light around them shifting from shimmering illumination to a warm, inviting glow.
Each person stood taller and straighter, shedding layers of pain with each confession.
The air grew lighter, filled with a sweet sense of release. Hope was palpable, wrapping itself around each soul present. Underneath the surface, however, Mary felt a twinge of fear nagging at her.
What if their prayers didn't reach the souls? What if they didn't find peace? Wisps of doubt flickered like shadows trying to reclaim their hold. But she knew they were not alone.
The presence of the divine enveloped them all, and the strength of their unity was creating a path forward.
Let us visualize them being set free,
she exclaimed, her voice vibrant with solid conviction. Picture their chains breaking, their burdens lifted.
As if responding to her call, the flickering lights morphed into increasingly brighter pulses.
The shadows danced at the edges, but now they began to fragment, like leaves caught in a gentle breeze. A shared sense of exhilaration rushed through the group, and the atmosphere throbbed with an undeniable mix of anticipation and reverence. Focus on love, Father Tobias prompted, joining Mary in sweeping the air around them with their intentions.
Lift their names up. Speak them aloud.
As they cried the names of their loved ones, lost friends and family who hovered just out of reach, the brightness intensified. Each utterance became a thread, weaving through the air, creating a network of light that bound them together. Mary closed her eyes, feeling the embrace of those she loved. "Grandmother," she whispered tenderly, conjuring the sweet warmth of her presence once more.
"You are free."
Tears spilled down her cheeks, soaking the fabric of her shirt, but she didn't care. Each drop was a testimony of her faith, falling like rain nurturing the seeds of hope. Suddenly, laughter erupted in the circle. It was bubbling and infectious, as though the very joy of release rippled through the gathering. In response, the shadows receded further. The room crackled with divine presence as every heart unveiled its burdens, surrendering to love.
"Look!"
Mary exclaimed, her eyes dancing with amazement.
"They're shining."
Figures materialized from the shimmering aura, a collection of faces long thought lost, all alight with a grace that transcended the limits of their former existence.
"We are here."
Their voices echoed joyfully, mingling with the essence of prayer that filled the room.
Father Tobias dropped to his knees, reverence washing over him.
The congregation followed suit, bowing their heads in humble submission to the miracle unfolding before their very eyes.
"Are they truly set free?"
Lila gasped, awe punctuating her disbelief. A smile spread across faces brightened with longing, an unspoken question hung heavy in the air, laden with promise. What might happen next?
What destiny awaited them, and how would their own lives be transformed by this connection?
A chorus of joyous laughter danced around them, igniting a powerful call to the divine presence swirling in their midst. With hope alight and eager hearts poised for whatever lay ahead, Mary realized they were on the brink of unveiling the greatest miracle yet. What awaited them just beyond this moment of profound revelation?
The air thickened with sacred anticipation, swirling vibrantly around them.
Mary's heart raced as the figures began to take form. She could hardly believe her eyes' faces she recognized, eyes sparkling with celestial joy. A wave of love washed over her, a tidal force that rooted her to the spot, and yet made her feel alive, more alive than ever before. Father Tobias raised his hands again, this time not in surrender but in an active invitation.
"This is just the beginning,"
he called out, his voice a beacon of faith. "We have opened the door, but now we must walk through it together." The congregation responded, a ripple of gasps and murmurs blending into a symphony of awe. The loved ones, once thought to be lost, began to move, their bodies shimmering with an ethereal light. They were no longer mere shadows in memory, but vibrant beings of love and forgiveness.
"Can you feel them?" Mary's whisper was almost a prayer of its own.
The warmth surrounding her intensified, wrapping her in an embrace both fierce and gentle. It was as if those radiant souls were expressing gratitude.
"Thank you for remembering us," one voice floated through the air, soft yet resounding.
It was her grandmother's voice, rich and soothing like familiar music.
"Your love has brought us here."
Tears streamed down Mary's face as she felt her grandmother's love wrap around her like an old quilt, a comfort she had long missed.
"I miss you," she choked out, heart aching yet swelling with joy. "I thought we would never see each other again."
With every breath, Mary felt the weight of grief lifting. Those haunting questions that had shadowed her for so long now flickered away like mist in the sun.
"Speak now,"
Father Tobias urged as he rose, his presence igniting strength in them all.
"What do you want to know? What do you wish to ask?" Daniel stepped forward, eyes still shimmering. "What must we do to keep this connection alive?"
His voice trembled with hope, brave and seeking answers. The figures paused, a gentle stillness overtaking the room. "Live and love," another spirit chimed in, its words floating like petals on the breeze.
"Nurture one another, uplift each other with kindness. Your faith has the power to keep us near."
At that moment, a soft glow enveloped Lila as she spoke out. "How can we share this joy with others?" Her curiosity was comforting, a longing that resonated through everyone. By being the light, the radiant figures encouraged. "Let your lives be the examples of love you seek to spread." Every act of compassion, every prayer whispered in faith, draws us closer. The understanding permeated the congregation, a collective heartbeat syncing with a rhythm all its own. They were the carriers of everything they had learned, every sacrifice and every prayer transforming them into instruments of divine love. Mary's spirit soared at the possibility and invitation to change the world, one act at a time. She glanced around, meeting the eyes of those she had journeyed with, feeling their spirits intertwine in that sacred moment. They were not just receivers of light, they were now also vessels to share it. "We must remember this," Father Tobias whispered, off-filling every word. "What we experience now must extend beyond these walls." Renewed purpose ignited in their hearts. They were bound by love and hope, propelled by the desire to connect, not just with those present but with a world aching for the same joy and freedom they had just witnessed. As they clasped hands, closing the circle, a warm wave of energy pulsed through them. Visions of their journey forward flickered like stars, each step, each action carrying divine significance. With that, shadows seemed to whisper secrets again, drawing their attention back to the figures who were beginning to fade. A new voice cut through the air, resonant with possibility. "Remember, dear ones, you hold the keys to many doors yet unattempted." The figures shimmered like the sun breaking through clouds, leaving behind an echo that tugged at the strings of their spirits. They felt it there, a question glittering in the air, begging for exploration. What door were they meant to open together? What greater miracles awaited them just beyond their next step? In the heart of that sacred gathering, the atmosphere thick with both laughter and tears, Mary felt a deep sense of fulfillment wash over her. The souls of their loved ones surrounded them, shimmering with ethereal light, offering a transformative gift, the promise of connection, healing, and a chance to share their love with others. "Remember," whispered her grandmother's voice, "to live every moment fueled by love, for love is the bridge that unites us." The congregation inhaled the weight of that tender command, hearts swelling with a new purpose. Daniel looked at Mary, the warmth of his mother guiding him, and he nodded. This was about more than just their family. It was time to extend that love to the village and beyond. Mary's heart raced. She felt the fire igniting within, building a resolve that surged toward action. "Let us share this light with our friends, our neighbors," Mary called out, her voice rising above the golden glow that filled the room. "Let every handshake be a reminder. Let every smile carry a truth reflected here tonight." The crowd broke into enthusiastic murmurs as excitement coursed through them. "We can start with kindness drives, community events," Lila suggested. "There are so many who need to feel this hope." "Yes," Father Tobias bellowed, invigorated by the fervor in the room. "Let us do not just speak of the light, but also embody it in our choices. Our actions can transform souls, both the living and those waiting to experience this love." As the conversation flowed like a gentle river, Mary visualized the entire village awakening to acts of compassion. Picture after picture danced in her mind, children visiting the elderly, laughter resonating through their homes, meals shared between neighbors, and moments kindling joy amid struggles. With each idea shared, the energy in the room swelled thicker, binding them together in a tapestry of faith and conviction. Mary stepped back, her heart soaring. She felt the invisible thread connecting them all, stretching beyond their circle into the village and beyond. "Let us take this commitment outside," she urged, her voice rising with the crescendo. "Let us spread these waves of faith until they ripple into hearts far and wide. For we have not just witnessed our miracle, now we must become miracles ourselves." Applause echoed through the room, voices rising in a chorus of agreement. The radiant souls seemed to dance in delight, their essence felt in every heartbeat that surrounded Mary. Suddenly, an idea flickered in Mary's mind, a vision of unity as powerful as the sun breaking through the clouds. What if we invite everyone's souls in pain, searching for hope, to join us? What if we create a day of community healing, a festival celebrating love, where everyone can share their burdens and we can lift each other together? Gasps filled the room at her suggestion. "Yes!" Daniel shouted with exuberance. "A day devoted to heal and connect." The excitement was palpable as each soul envisioned the richness of such a gathering, full of joy and support. As they planned, Mary felt a gentle hand on her shoulder. Father Tobias offered a knowing smile. "Let us center our hearts in prayer again," he suggested. "May our intentions radiate out into the world beyond these walls." They formed a circle again, hearts entwined, and Mary squeezed Daniel's hand as they bowed their heads. "Father, let this idea bloom into something beautiful," Mary began, her voice unwavering. May we walk forward, being the light that drew us all together. Let true compassion and love shine brightly, transforming lives in ways we cannot yet fathom. As they spoke, the energy in the room felt alive, pulsating through them like the steady heartbeat of life itself. The souls of their loved ones shimmered with every sincere word, the love and healing they had offered echoing back.
Let joy be our anthem, Father Tobias proclaimed as soon as they opened their eyes again. Together we will announce this new chapter.
A chorus of vocal celebration erupted into rays of laughter, excitement filling the air with energy that surged toward
the heavenly realms.
As they left the warmth of the room filled with divine connections, Mary felt a shift within herself. No longer just a single mother clutching onto faith, she stood as a vessel of hope, ready to inspire others. She understood now, not just for her son but for the world, they could ignite the flame of change everywhere, and so they departed, hearts exuding warmth, arms outstretched into the village, ready to cherish that divine calling.
Go forth, Mary declared, spirit alight with inspiration. This is our time.
The lanterns glimmered outside as they marched into the brisk night, a beacon for all who would seek the light. As shadows danced behind them, they stepped boldly into the promise of a new dawn, a life of love, faith, and miracles woven into the fabric of a shared existence. But remember, dear friends, this story doesn't end here.
The power of faith continues to beckon us all. If this message has touched your spirit, then this is the moment to show your support. Subscribe immediately to the channel. Don't risk losing our next inspiring faith story that could change your life. Give this video a like now to feed the algorithm, empowering more hearts with divine messages. And comment below with your testimony. Where has faith taken you? Your voice matters. Lastly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this miraculous manifestation. Don't wait even one more second to spread this light. Only true servants of God understand the urgency of spreading love and connection. Join us on this journey of faith and transformation.